Nebraska, 1995. A 16-year-old girl was in a serious car accident, one that should have left her with horrific injuries or even dead, but somehow she walked away unscathed. The girl was taken to hospital just in case, and x-rays revealed that there were no breaks or fractures, but the scans did show something else very strange. Her skeleton was normally shaped, but her bones were abnormally dense, denser than 99.9999793% of women of a similar age. And then scientists decided to look into her family, and they found that 12 individuals, including her mum, had these same extremely dense bones, and none of these people had ever broken a bone in their life. What was going on? Bone mineral density refers to the amount of minerals like calcium and phosphorus that are present in the bone. And these minerals are really important. They form these hard crystals that give bones their strength and structure. Generally speaking, the higher the bone mineral density, the stronger the bone. And there's lots of variation between people. And you probably have heard about the low end of the spectrum, which is a condition called osteoporosis. The bones are really brittle and easy to break. And generally osteoporosis happens when someone gets older, and it can be made worse by factors like being physically inactive or not getting the right things in your diet. But we rarely talk about the high end of the spectrum when it comes to bone density, and that's when it gets really interesting. Okay, so back to the mystery. Around the same time in 2002, two individuals in Connecticut had routine medical tests which involved bone scans, and their results were flagged because they had very dense bones. Scientists looked into it and found that these individuals were actually related. 7 members of the family had these same extremely dense bones. They also had never broken a bone before, and they struggled to stay afloat while they were swimming. Another interesting thing tying them together was they had this thing called torus palatinus, which is this bony overgrowth on the roof of the mouth. And as the investigations progressed in parallel in different parts of the US, the scientists realized that these people had a very rare genetic change, a mutation in the LRP5 gene. So osteoblasts are the cells that make new bone, and osteoclasts are the ones that break the old bone down. Typically, the osteoblasts and the osteoclasts work in balance, so the amount of bone that you have is roughly the same. This mutation changed the way their bone cells behaved, increasing osteoblast activity and reducing osteoclast activity. The scale was tipped towards bone formation, but not too far. They didn't have serious side effects, and they were able to live long and healthy lives. And they kind of had an advantage because they were less likely to get a break or a fracture. But that balance can actually be tipped even further. There are some rare genetic conditions where bone growth can get so out of control that it can be life-threatening. For example, there's sclerosteosis, which is an extremely rare condition where people become extremely tall, something called gigantism. They also can get webbed fingers and toes. Their skeleton's extremely heavy, as you can see in these photos, and unfortunately, because the bones of their skull and their jaw, etc., continue to grow and get thicker and thicker, their nerves can get compressed, leading to blindness and deafness, and increasing the pressure on their brain. There's also something called osteopetrosis, or marble bone disease, which is where people have extremely dense bones, but they're very brittle and prone to fracture and breaking. Scientists are working on understanding these conditions better, and that's really helpful, of course, for the individuals who suffer, but also for the general population. If we can understand how people get to this abnormally high bone density, maybe we can help people with the really low bone density. And there are some drugs in development that are looking at this bone creation pathway, trying to upregulate it and improve bone mass for people with osteoporosis. And who knows, maybe in future there'll be a drug that we can take to get unbreakable bones.